Tommy Lee Walker's name had faded into the city's collective amnesia. For 7 decades, he was remembered only as a young black man condemned by Texas for the 1953 assault and killing of Venice Parker. His legacy remained trapped in archived newsprint and legal records, the finality of his execution largely unchallenged by time. The silence broke in January 2026. In a rare admission of institutional failure, the Dallas County Commissioner's Court moved beyond qualifiers like wrongful conviction to formally declare Tommy Lee Walker innocent. Tracing the roots of this injustice requires a look back at the climate of Dallas in late 1953. Segregated communities were haunted by tales of a Negro prowler, a spectral figure accused of preying on white women in their homes. These stories, fueled by racial anxiety, grew more monstrous with every repetition. The tension peaked on September 30th, 1953, when Venice Parker was fatally stabbed and assaulted at a bus stop. Though she died shortly after being taken to Love Field Hospital, a white officer alleged she had named her assailant as a black man, a claim disputed by other witnesses who noted she was too injured to speak. Nevertheless, this single report sparked a massive police dragnet that saw hundreds of black men detained without result. Desperate for a resolution amidst mounting public outcry, investigators eventually acted on a dubious tip from an individual later motivated by reward money. They focused on 19-year-old Tommy Lee Walker, a man with no prior record, whose only real crimes were his poverty and the color of his skin. Walker maintained his innocence.
Yeah, they made out a report on me. They said that it was murder and rape, which I know anything about.
Backed by an airtight alibi. At the time of the attack, he was at a hospital celebrating the birth of his son, Edward Lee Smith. Despite 10 witnesses confirming his presence miles away, their testimony was dismissed in the Jim Crow-era legal system. The subsequent interrogation was led by Homicide Bureau Chief Will Fritz and District Attorney Henry Wade. Walker was subjected to hours of threats and manipulation until, depleted and afraid, he signed 2 confessions, though the statements were factually inconsistent and Walker quickly withdrew them. The state had the leverage it needed to make his conviction a foregone conclusion. The prosecution of Tommy Lee Walker was marked by the presence of District Attorney Henry Wade, whose actions fundamentally undermined the trial's integrity. Wade engaged in numerous unethical practices, including the withholding of exculpatory evidence and the introduction of prejudicial and inadmissible information. In a staggering breach of protocol, he even took the witness stand to testify to his personal belief in Walker's guilt before returning to lead the prosecution. During his final address to the jury, he went as far as to claim he would personally carry out the execution. The proceedings, occurring in a county later recognized by the Supreme Court for its systematic exclusion of minority jurors, lasted only a few hours. Despite the advocacy of NAACP attorney William J. Durham and the vocal support of nearly 1,000 community members who believed in his innocence, Walker was convicted and sentenced to death. Petitions and pleas for mercy from local churches and the YMCA were ignored, and the state executed Walker less than 3 years after his initial arrest. The impact of this state-sanctioned killing was profoundly felt by Walker's son, Edward Smith, who had only met his father once as a toddler. Smith spent his life navigating the void left by his father's absence, unsure if the truth would ever be acknowledged. Vindication arrived decades after the fact, through the dedicated work of the Dallas County Conviction Integrity Unit, the Innocence Project, and Northeastern University. The systemic failures that led to Walker's conviction, including racial prejudice, coerced confessions, and Brady violations, were finally exposed. In 2026, Dallas officially exonerated Tommy Lee Walker. While the declaration could not return a father to his son or erase the tragedy of 1953, it fundamentally altered the historical record. No longer branded a murderer, Walker was finally recognized by the state as what he had always been, an innocent man.
I say, do you have anything to say why the sentence of law should not be pronounced against you?
Yes.
Well, say it.
I feel that I have been tricked out of my life.
There's a lot of other people that have been convicted for crimes that committed and was turned loose. I haven't did anything, and I'm not being turned loose. That's all.
That's all you have to say.